Hey everyone, my name's Walter, and we're back here with another horrible relationship story from Reddit. Best of Redditor Updates is a place that compiles entire stories for us. So let's just get started with stories from Best of Redditor Updates. This was originally from Reddit Relationship Advice, and it's actually recent. My 25 female boyfriend, 27 male, called me selfish for wanting him to leave his boys' night early due to me grieving. Where do I go from here? Reddit will definitely say leave him, and I probably agree based on the title, but let's get the rest of the context. I have tried posting this too many times, lol. I've never used Reddit before, only seen videos, but I'm hoping to get some much needed insight. I have been in a relationship with my boyfriend for 4 years. Our relationship has been very good for the most part, some fights here and there, but nothing worth noting, until a week ago. I got a call from my brother telling me my mom had passed away last Friday. Growing up, I was never super close with her. We were usually fighting. But over the last 5 years, our relationship improved tremendously. We'd text throughout the week, and every Sunday I would go on 4 to 5 hour drives with her on speaker to keep me company, talking about anything and everything under the sun. She became my best friend. For context, my boyfriend knows how close we had gotten, and had even joined me for some of those drives. Now is the problem. My boyfriend has a fairly close group of friends that he keeps up with, usually gaming with them throughout the week. Then, once a month, him and his friends will hang out and drink. He let me know a few days prior that he would be hanging out with them that Friday. When I got the news, I immediately called him, breaking down and telling him I didn't know what to do and that I knew I needed to be with him tonight. He went from consoling me to saying, "I let you know a few days ago, I have plans with my friends. I only get to see them once a month." I told him I understood, but I really needed him, and I'm sure they would reschedule, to which he said they definitely wouldn't be able to, as they all have their own responsibilities. After some more time going back and forth, I gave in and said I would be okay with him going as long as he left early. Since he leaves at 7 p.m., I said I would like for him to come back by 11. He agreed. I spent the night going through texts with her, photos, everything I could. I tried to distract myself with other things, but nothing worked. Eventually, 10 p.m. rolls around and I text my boyfriend, "Will you be leaving in an hour?" To which he responds, "You told me 12, so I'll be leaving then." I told him I said 11, and I was standing by that. He didn't respond after, and came home at 12. I asked him why he didn't reply, and why he didn't just come back an hour earlier. He immediately got upset with me, telling me I was selfish for ruining his night with his friends. Him spending an extra hour there means nothing since he still left early, and I would be fine since I didn't spend my childhood with her anyways. I told him I didn't even want him to go out with them that day to begin with, since I had just gotten the news, but I agreed to it under that specific condition, and so had he. He could also just catch up with his friends when they game during the week. The fight ended with him telling me I was again being selfish, as he doesn't get to see them in person often, and that I shouldn't expect him to drop everything for me. We've been fairly cold to each other since, which has left me overthinking and reevaluating our relationship. On one hand, I am extremely heartbroken he wasn't there for me, and I know that's not something I want for my future. But on the other hand, his words have definitely gotten to me, and I feel bad for separating him from his friends. I also know it would break me more to lose someone else so close to me. Where do I go from here? I do like how he seems to think you can only establish a meaningful relationship with your mother as a child. It's like, why even be in a relationship if this is how much you care about it and her? This is some more what's my age again bullshit. If my mother passed away and my partner didn't come home from being with his friends, that would be it for me. He's trying to tell you what he didn't do was bad because he told you it was happening. You weren't close with her in childhood and is genuinely trying to make it your problem. You're grieving and your boyfriend of 4 years doesn't think it's a big deal. Create a plan and end this relationship. He is totally Darvoing her. OP. Darvo is shorthand for classic abuser responses. It stands for deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. Your boyfriend did all of them. He denied that he agreed to come home at 11. He attacked you for asking him for emotional support, and then made himself the victim of your demands, instead of letting you be the child who just lost her mother and needs emotional support. OP, get out now. This is a man who will always choose his needs over yours. Sounds like the boys are more important to him than his girlfriend and her intense grief. My wife would have filed for divorce the next day if I went out with friends after her mother passed last year. I've treated complete strangers as more of a priority than your boyfriend treats you. If I had met someone that day and they found out their mom just died, I wouldn't leave them to go drinking. Let alone if they were someone I care about. End it. This guy doesn't care about you at all. And he's probably going to act like she's crazy for wanting to end it over this, but I'm pretty sure I would expect it to be over, yeah. I want to start off by saying thank you so much to everyone that commented. I spent a good while reading every single comment, so for everyone that gave me advice and shared their stories, please know I am extremely grateful for you. I also appreciate everyone that gave me their condolences. Now for the update. A little while after posting, one of my boyfriend's friends reached out to me. He asked me if I had posted it, because if I did, he had something to tell me. I said yes, and he told me before my boyfriend left their boys' night, he had started complaining about me to everyone there, telling them I was being a psycho and forcing him to leave. He completely lied about my relationship with my mom and told them I wasn't close with her at all, rarely talked to her. Anytime I mentioned her, I did nothing but shit talk her, and that I was using her death as a way to control him. I also learned throughout our entire relationship, he'd tell his friends about every fight of ours, and again would completely lie about everything that happened in them. For context, I am not close with any of his friends, and he had apparently told them I was faking my personality whenever I interacted with them and shit-talked them when they weren't around as well. Ironic. So I don't necessarily blame them for believing it. The only reason why his friend reached out was because my boyfriend had done the same thing in past relationships, and he was starting to get suspicious and tired of it. Oh, this is even worse. This guy has borderline personality disorder or something. It's so obvious that he constantly shit-talks everyone else behind their backs, and that's why he's projecting it onto the OP. Sounds exhausting just to be friends with him, let alone dating him. I confronted my boyfriend about it afterwards, and he denied everything for a while before ultimately admitting to it all. He started crying, saying he doesn't know why he's like this, but that he loves me, can't live without me, anything and everything you can think of. I packed whatever I could and told him I needed time to think. I'd be staying with my brother in the meantime, as I had to drive out to go to my mom's funeral and go through her things. So for the few that asked if I had another support system, my family lives a few states away, as my boyfriend and I started out long distance, and I moved away from them a couple years ago for him. The few new friends I made are away traveling for the summer, which I couldn't join in on for numerous reasons. I also couldn't get out of bed for the majority of the week, so I didn't leave sooner. What he didn't know at the time was that I didn't need time to think, and I had already decided I would not be coming back. As I said in my original post, there was nothing awful worth noting about him during our relationship. He didn't treat me exceptionally well, but not terrible either. So prior to his friend reaching out, I genuinely didn't know what to think of the situation. To me, it was out of character for him. My main thought was the news of her passing might have hurt him a lot as well, and he didn't know how to handle it. But I now know that he was an entirely different person with his friends, and what was out of character for me was completely in character for them. It definitely scares me to think of what would have happened if I didn't post and never learned the things he was saying when I wasn't around. I also have no clue what I'd do if another life-changing event happened and he put something else above being there for me. So to everyone that wanted an update, just know that I have completely removed him from my life. No amount of tears and fake apologies will convince me otherwise. He wasn't there when I needed him, and that's enough, but the lying and fake stories he'd share on top of that is terrifying. I know my mom would rip me a new one if she heard all this, and I did anything other than leave him, lol. I will always be grateful for this little corner of the internet, and the awful future it saved me from. Yeah, I do think it's a pretty sad thing that this guy almost had her blaming herself when he's so obviously the asshole. But his narrative really didn't stand up to outside scrutiny when she posted it to Reddit. That's the end of the story, but I have a feeling the comments will be interesting. My ex did this kind of thing. He'd either shit-talk me to people, or tell me they were shit-talking me. Things like they're worried about you, you seem XYZ, they think you're unstable, that kind of thing. Creating this narrative that everyone around you thinks you've got issues, but I'm going to take care of you and help you. LOL, the only mental health issue I had was him. It all came undone once I'd left him and heard he'd been using my personal history with eating disorders, a decade before in my late teens, 20s, and our own relationship issues to twist into this hero complex for himself. He was the savior and I was a mess. Psychotic. The irony was, he shit-talked everyone to me, including his closest friends. He was above everyone in his insecure mind. The amount I've managed to achieve in my life since leaving his ass, Shows me how kept small I was in that relationship. I was a shell of myself when I left, and cannot fathom ever being in that position again. It's laughable how transparent his bullshit was now, but then I just couldn't see it until it got so bad it was like a light went off in my head and I couldn't unsee it. He tried to get my mother on side in his bullshit, and she told me straight away. The rage I raged internally. Fortunately, I was already 1 foot out the door and about to pull the pin. Covert narcissism at its finest. Jesus, talk about thinking you're the main character. I can't even fathom why you'd want to spread a narrative about being the savior to some poor addled woman. It doesn't even make him look good to me. The fact that this is apparently something he does in every relationship, to the point his friend was tired of it, meaning that friend at least started realizing that this dude was lying. And I'm sure it's because of that back and forth with you crying, and he turns around and says, her mother died, but she's not close at all. Then proceeded to talk shit on you after you called him to say your mother had died while clearly grieving? I think that was too much for that friend to keep believing what he said. Your mom would be proud of you. We just lost my grandmother, and my mom didn't really like my grandmother when she was growing up. She was abusive, but as an adult they were better, and she even said I'm losing my best friend. I'm so sorry for your loss. Sometimes parents are better when you are an adult and they can't control you, and that's just how it is. So don't pay attention to his, you didn't really grow up with her around, or whatever comments to make you feel bad for wanting him. This is why we as a society need to get rid of the idea of loyalty and ride or die. When we see a friend who has constant drama and every ex was the problem, we should pay attention to that. Every time I encounter a guy telling me how all of his exes were psychos and bitches, I point out to him that the common denominator was him. So either he's choosing them, or he's lying about them. Neither one is something I'm on board for. I understand wanting to be supportive of your friends, but when it's a pattern, it's a problem. Yeah, there's really no excuse for having a bunch of crazy exes. It has to be his fault one way or the other. And same thing if a woman has a bunch of crazy exes, of course. Poor OP. She thought she was with a certain person, but that person never existed. She's smart to just walk away from him. He can keep pulling this crap on someone else. I'm glad someone reached out to you, and you all figured it out. Some people get off turning people in their lives against each other. He knows he does this, and he in no way actually feels bad about it. I would also like to say that having a complicated relationship with a parent does not make their deaths any less traumatic. So even if you hadn't grown closer to your mom, it wouldn't invalidate your need for support. I am so very sorry for your loss, OP. I was 20 when my mom passed away, and I have an understanding of what you were going through. Please block him and protect your peace. You are going to go through many emotions over the next several months and years ahead, including the grief of your breakup. Focus on your healing and your family you have around you. Please also know your boyfriend's behavior and tears are a reflection of his narcissistic personality. Anyone with any care for you would have been with you immediately and never left your side. I'm so grateful that friend actually reached out to you, so you, albeit painful, could learn what was really going on. Take care of yourself, OP. Know that you did nothing wrong, and you had every right to expect support during your time of need, but you were left alone. There is nothing more wrong than that. Hugs, sweetheart. You're going to be okay. Good for you, OP. People are rarely shitty in only one area of life. His crying over consequences of his actions when your mother died is disgusting. What a loser. I hope his friends see this and cut him out. Only shitty people have friends like your ex in their life. I'm sorry for your loss, but glad you won't waste a single second more on that loser. People made a lot of good points here. But that's about all the time I have for you today. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you like the video, please give it a like. If you have something to say, and I'd imagine a lot of people do, let me hear it in the comments. I'll be here reading them. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more of the same, and whatever else I come up with. And big thanks to my amazing patrons who give me money directly over on Patreon. It really helps me out. I have a few people I want to talk about, so I'll probably be back soon with something new. Have a great day, everyone, and be thankful you're not dating this guy.